Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how dealer markups are a thing of the past, well, pretty much. Before getting into this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more content just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post these videos every single day. Let's get into it. Dealership markups have always been a hot topic of debate because, well, customers don't want to pay more than what a manufacturer says a vehicle should be worth, but dealers obviously always want to optimize profits and, frankly, sell vehicles at actual market value. And that debate obviously got really heated over the last couple of years because of how extreme some of these markups got. But we have finally gotten to the point where we are doing a complete 180 and the markups are all pretty much gone. We don't really need to deep dive into why this is happening from a market perspective because, well, we already all know that interest rates have increased by a massive amount, which has decreased buying demand both in the new car market and in the used car market. And, well, when demand goes away, that means that prices have to come down to basically compensate so that people will continue to buy. But we're in a situation where those prices on the used car market side of things are falling so drastically that it's pushing even more people out of the market because, well, they can't afford to trade in their cars because they're now all upside down because of how much they paid for those cars over the last couple of years. So it's a complete mess, but all you really need to know for today's video's sake is that, well, the market has calmed down a massive amount, and so we're in a situation where we now have less demand than supply with most vehicles. And I really am seeing this happen in real time because there are cars that I saw consistently marked up over the course of the pandemic that are no longer marked up, and some of them are even selling for under MSRP. A really good example is the GMC Sierra 3500 AT4. This was a truck that during the course of the pandemic, you would have to wait, 4 to 6 months for one to even show up at a dealership that you could put your name on. And on top of that, you would have to pay $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 over MSRP. Now you can go into a GMC dealer and they might have a couple 3500 AT4s and they'll have them priced at MSRP and they're still not selling. So complete reversal in the market. And it's not just, big trucks like that. I'm seeing this across the board with pretty much every single type of vehicle where even vehicles that are still hard to come by right now are losing their markups because people just aren't willing to pay the prices. And people are constantly commenting, oh, the market's still hot. People are still buying stuff. People are still paying over MSRP. And the reality is, yes, there are some people that are still doing that because they just don't understand what's happening. But the majority of buyers are no longer paying over MSRP. That is definitely not what I'm hearing from dealers. What I'm instead hearing from dealers is that, yes, some of them are still advertising over MSRP pricing, but they're not really getting people to bite on that over MSRP pricing like what they had over the course of the last couple of years. What's instead happening is these cars are sitting on their lot. And what inevitably will happen in almost every single situation is someone will make an offer at MSRP or sometimes under MSRP, and the dealer just takes it because they just want to get rid of the car. And so if you're in a situation where you have dealers that have inventory that they're sitting on for quite some time and they're asking over MSRP, just make them an offer. And some people might say, oh, well, the dealership's just going to laugh at me and they're going to kick me out. And some people are saying that's even happening to them. And, well, my answer to that is just go buy from another dealer. Nobody is forcing you to buy from that specific dealer. If that dealer is stupid enough to lose a customer in today's market, then you should be smart enough to just go to a different dealer. You do not have to buy locally. I understand that, everyone tries to buy local because you want to support your local dealers, but if your local dealers aren't willing to work out a deal considering the market, then you shouldn't really work with them. And frankly, in today's world where we have phones and we've got emails and all sorts of other ways to connect with each other across the country, then it's super easy to buy a car out of your local area, frankly, out of state, across the country. Like, it has never been easier. Now, obviously, getting the car to you can sometimes be a little bit of a logistical nightmare if you can't find the right shipping company or if you are trying to book a trip and then drive it back. Like, there's all sorts of things that can get in the way. But for the most part, for the average person, it's actually not too much of a hurdle to figure out. And so, again, stop complaining that your local dealers aren't taking, their markups away. just go and buy from other dealers, because there are plenty of dealers that no longer have markups in today's market. Now, the only downside that I see to some of these dealers that aren't charging markups is they're being really, really soft with what they're offering when it comes to trade-in value. So if you happen to have a trade-in, then this is something that you're definitely going to have to navigate. And so, you know, what these dealers are basically saying is, hey, since we aren't charging the markups that other dealers are charging on this product, then we can't give you as much for your trade-in. They're saying we're helping you out, so you have to help us out, basically. But again, you don't have to take that as a customer. Something that I have seen that has been helping quite a few people out is they basically go and get a trade appraisal with a dealer that has crazy markups, because they're generally paying more for trade-ins, because, well, if they're marking their vehicle up, then they can pay a little bit more for yours. And they get that trade-in value, and then they go to a dealership that doesn't charge markups, and they basically ask them to price match that trade-in value if their trade-in value is significantly lower. And if they aren't willing to do that, then something that you can do as a customer, if you don't know, is you can basically trade it into the dealer you're buying a car from, and then the other dealer that's willing to pay more for it, they can buy it from that dealer. It's an in and out deal. You don't just have to have like a private party purchase your car through an in and out deal. You can also have it be a dealership that is purchasing it. And so this is just something that you should always do, no matter what the market's doing, is you should get your car basically appraised by multiple different dealers. And if one dealer happens to offer more than another, then just take advantage of that and just still buy the car from the dealer you're going to buy the car from, but then just take that higher value. And it's something that's super easy to set up. Just say, hey, this dealer is willing to pay this amount for my car, you're not. So how about you contact that dealer, make sure that they are still willing to just straight up buy my car for that amount, and I can trade my car in for that amount, and then you just sell it straight to them. Like, it's a super easy process. Or obviously, you know, you can just fully retail out of your car, find someone that's willing to buy your car and do that in and out deal. But that's definitely something you're going to want to look into with trade-ins, with this whole markup versus no markup situation we're seeing with different dealers. So how can you use this information to help you out as a buyer? So first off, with those dealers that are still charging markups, don't pay them. Like, it seriously doesn't make sense in today's market. I've said this time and time again, but use the situation to your advantage. If they are charging big markups on their cars, chances are, and this isn't obviously always going to be the case, but chances are they will typically pay more for trade-ins, because they feel like they can, you know, pad profits a little bit with the markups that they are charging. And so take that higher trade-in value and buy from another dealer, do an in and out deal so you can still get your tax credit. And again, this is something that happens all the time. People just don't take advantage of it because they simply do not know about it. And then when it comes to finding a dealer that's not charging markups, it's really not that hard. Like, you can go on any third-party website and look up cars for sale, like Auto Trader, Auto Tempest, any of those, you know, websites that have cars for sale. And you can see, like, dealers are very open if they're charging markups, because they'll post the MSRP on a car, and then they'll post, you know, if they just show MSRP, sometimes that can be kind of like a crapshoot, where sometimes they are charging a markup and sometimes they aren't. But usually if they're charging a markup, they'll show MSRP and then they'll show sales price, and it'll be a difference number. Like, it'll be MSRP is $80,000, sale price is $90,000, for example. So you can very clearly see that dealer wants an amount over MSRP. I probably shouldn't work with them. Versus, you know, on some of them it'll show MSRP 80,000, sales price 80,000. So then you go, oh, that dealer isn't charging markups. But what you always need to do is research into that specific vehicle. And what I'm going to say right now might offend some dealers, but I think it's just reality. Unless it's like a super specialty vehicle or something that is super, super hard to get right now, I don't think that it should be selling for MSRP. Like, if it's a regular run-of-the-mill vehicle, invoice at this point with where the market's at, with how high interest rates are and with how low buying demand is. Invoice makes sense on most cars, or sometimes even below invoice. Unless it's something that's specialty, then yeah, MSRP can make sense, because that's just, you know, where the market's going to be in that car. But there's not a lot of cars in today's market that are truly worth MSRP with the price increases we've seen from the manufacturers. And again, with the fact that vehicles are just slowly stacking up on dealer lots. I mean, there are dealers that just a couple months ago had no new cars, and now they have like almost 100 new cars. Like, that is a huge change in a very short period of time. And so if these dealers really want to get rid of these cars, they're gonna have to roll out the big discounts, and well, that's what I'm finally starting to see. That's pretty much gonna sum things up for today's video, and hopefully this helps you out, especially if you happen to live in an area where your dealers are still charging crazy markups. And again, you just really need to understand that you need to stop buying into your own BS, that that's just what the market is, because that's not what the market is. The market has completely flipped at this point. Some dealers are still in denial. as to where the market is going, but other dealers have caught on, and well, a lot of dealers have actually caught on, and so that's why they're getting rid of their market adjustments, and some of them are even starting to advertise below MSRP pricing online, which again is something that we haven't really seen since before the pandemic. So take advantage of it if you are currently in the market for a car and ready to buy, especially if you happen to be a cash buyer, because chances are this could be the best possible time to purchase a car. If it's a new car, used cars, no, I still am not on team used cars, but on new cars, everything that I've heard, and I've mentioned this in several videos, that MSRPs are going to increase next year. And so your buying power as a cash buyer is just going to continue to basically go down over time. But yeah, we'll save that for another video. I'll see you.